Nobody talks about AMC, and that is exactly the problem. While Chevrolet and Ford were busy spending millions on marketing campaigns and factory racing programs, American Motors Corporation was quietly building some of the most dangerous, most underrated, and most overlooked muscle cars in automotive history. These weren't cars for people who wanted to fit in. These were cars for people who wanted to win. And more often than not, that is exactly what happened. Here are the 15 fastest AMC muscle cars ever built. And by the end of this list, you are going to wonder how the entire world forgot about them. Number 15, the 1968 AMC Javelin SST. Every revolution has to start somewhere. And for American Motors Corporation, it started here. The 1968 Javelin SST was AMC's answer to the Ford Mustang and the Chevrolet Camaro, which sounds like a punchline until you actually look at the numbers. AMC designed the Javelin from scratch as a genuine pony car competitor, not a badge-engineered economy car with a hood scoop bolted on, not a family sedan wearing racing stripes. This was a purpose-built performance machine, and it arrived with enough style and substance to make the Big Three genuinely nervous. The top engine option in 1968 was a 343 cubic inch V8 producing 280 horsepower. In a car that weighed just over 3,000 pounds, that was enough to push the Javelin through the quarter mile in the mid-14-second range. Nothing that was going to terrify a Hemi Cuda, admittedly. But for a brand that most people associated with the Rambler station wagon, this was a seismic shift. The Javelin SST package added bucket seats, a center console, wood grain trim, and enough visual aggression to turn heads on any boulevard in America. AMC sold over 55,000 Javelins in that first year, which was a genuine shock to everyone, including AMC. The pony car wars had a new contestant, and this one had absolutely nothing to lose. Number 14, the 1969 AMC Rambler SC/Rambler. Here is where things get genuinely strange and wonderful and slightly unhinged. AMC partnered with Hearst Performance in 1969 to build a car that nobody asked for, nobody expected, and nobody who ever drove one could stop talking about. They took the humble Rambler Rogue body, a car that had the street credibility of a kitchen appliance, stuffed a 390 cubic inch V8 under the hood, and painted the whole thing in a red, white, and blue color scheme, so loud it could be heard from 3 blocks away. The result was the SC/Rambler, also known as the Scrambler, and it was absolutely devastating. Official horsepower was listed at 315, but the SC/Rambler weighed barely 3,000 pounds, which meant that power went somewhere fast. Quarter-mile times came in at 13.8 seconds right off the showroom floor. That put it ahead of cars that cost significantly more money and carried significantly more reputation. The functional hood scoop fed cold air directly into the hungry V8. The Hearst shifter made every gear change feel like pulling the pin on a grenade, and the exterior graphics made absolutely certain that nobody within eyesight could ignore what was happening. Car and driver tested the SC/Rambler and came away genuinely stunned. They called it one of the best performance bargains in America. At just under $3,000, they were not wrong. This was the original sleeper, except it was wearing the most attention-grabbing paint job since the 1970 Rebel Machine. We will get to that one. Number 13, the 1971 AMC Javelin AMX 401. By 1971, the muscle car era was officially in its death spiral. Emissions regulations were tightening, insurance premiums were strangling young buyers, and most manufacturers were quietly retreating from the horsepower wars. AMC did not get that memo. In 1971, they dropped the new 401 cubic inch V8 into the Javelin AMX and created one of the most ferocious factory muscle cars of the entire decade. The 401 made 330 horsepower under the new HUS-AE net rating system, which sounds modest until you understand what that engine felt like in practice. The torque figure was 335 pound-feet. It arrived low in the rev range, and it stayed. This was an engine that pulled like a freight train from idle to redline. Quarter-mile times for the 4:01 Javelin AMX came in around 13.9 seconds, with a skilled driver behind the wheel. Trap speeds exceeded 100 miles per hour. In 1971, that was legitimately quick by any standard. AMC also gave the Javelin a complete visual redesign for the 1971 model year. The new body was more aggressive, more sculpted, and more dramatic than the original. Twin hood scoops, muscular rear haunches, and a front end that looked like it wanted to argue. Combined with the 4:01 engine, this was a muscle car that arrived at the worst possible time for the muscle car era, and still refused to apologize for its existence. That is a very AMC thing to do. Number 12, the 1968 AMC AMX 390. Now we are getting serious. AMC shocked the entire automotive establishment in 1968 by introducing the AMX, a two-seat sports car with a full-size muscle car engine. Not a 2+2, not a pony car with token rear seats. A genuine two-seater, competing directly with the Corvette, with a starting price that made Chevrolet's offering look like luxury spending. The top engine option was the 390 cubic inch V8, producing 315 horsepower. In the AMX's short 100-inch wheelbase body, that power created something that felt genuinely electric. 0 to 60 came in around 6.6 seconds. The quarter muscle passed in the low 14-second range. Top speed pushed past 120 miles per hour. What made the AMX remarkable was what it represented. This was AMC declaring that they could compete with anyone. The two-seat layout was unusual for an American muscle car, and it gave the AMX a sporting character that most of its competitors simply could not match. The short wheelbase made it nimble, the big block made it brutal, and the combination created something unique in the American market. Craig Breedlove set 24 speed records at the Bonneville Salt Flats in a stock 1968 AMX 390, 24 records in one trip. If that does not make you take the AMX seriously, I genuinely do not know what will. Number 11, the 1970 AMC Rebel Machine. Let us talk about commitment, because whoever approved the 1970 Rebel Machine had commitment in quantities that most car executives simply do not possess. The early production Rebel Machines came in one color and one color only: red, white, and blue. Not as a metaphor, literally red on the bottom, white on top, and a blue hood with a massive functional ram air scoop pointing straight at the sky. It was the most patriotic thing on four wheels that 1970 had to offer, and it drove like it was trying to win the Cold War by itself. The engine was AMC's 340 cubic inch V8, breathing through that functional hood scoop and producing 340 horsepower. In a car weighing around 3,500 pounds, that translated to quarter-mile times in the low 14-second range and 0 to 60 sprints under 7 seconds. AMC built approximately 2,000 Rebel Machines in total before later production cars became available in other colors. The patriotic scheme was eventually offered as an option rather than a requirement, which was probably the right call. Not everyone wants to drive something that looks like a fireworks display, but the performance was real. The ram air induction system gave the engine a meaningful power boost at higher speeds. The handling was surprisingly sorted for an AMC product of the era, and the attitude was absolutely unmatched. This was AMC at its most unfiltered, building what they wanted, painting it however they felt like, and daring the world to keep up. Number 10. The 1969 AMC AMX Big Bad Package. The Big Bad Package? 3 words that tell you everything you need to know about AMC's attitude in 1969. AMC offered the AMX in 3 exclusive colors that year under the Big Bad banner: Big Bad Blue, Big Bad Green, Big Bad Orange. These were not subtle shades. These were colors that made people shield their eyes in the parking lots. And they came packaged with performance upgrades that matched the visual aggression perfectly. The Big Bad AMX came standard with the 390 cubic inch V8, producing 315 horsepower. A chin spoiler, rear spoiler, and hood scoop completed the package. The result was a car that looked like it had been designed by someone who had never heard the word restraint and would not have listened anyway. Performance was serious. Quarter-mile times in the high 13-second range were achievable with the right driver and the right conditions. 0 to 60 came in around 6.5 seconds. And the AMX's short wheelbase and relatively light weight gave it a handling sharpness that full-size muscle car simply could not replicate. Only about 750 Big Bad AMX models were built across all three colors. That makes them extraordinarily rare today, and the colors ensure that any surviving example is impossible to miss. If you have never seen a Big Bad Orange AMX, find one. It will rearrange something in your brain permanently. Number 9. The 1970 AMC Javelin Trans Am. As racing makes better cars. That is the theory anyway. And in the case of the 1970 AMC Javelin Trans Am, the theory holds up beautifully. AMC entered the Sports Car Club of America's Trans Am racing series in 1970 with a factory-supported Javelin program. To qualify for competition, they needed to build road-going versions that shared enough DNA with the race cars to satisfy the homologation rules. What they produced was one of the most capable handling AMC vehicles ever built. The Trans Am Javelin came with the 360 cubic inch V8, producing 290 horsepower. That sounds conservative, but this was an engine tuned for sustained performance rather than peak numbers. It breathed freely, it revved willingly, and it kept making power all the way to redline in a way that displacement numbers alone cannot capture. More importantly, the Trans Am package transformed the Javelin's chassis. Stiffer springs, upgraded shocks, larger anti-roll bars, and wider wheels gave the car a balance and precision that was completely unlike the typical American muscle car formula of the era. This was a Javelin that could actually corner. Mark Donohue drove the factory Trans Am Javelin to multiple victories that season, defeating the Mustang and Camaro teams that had far greater budgets and far more experience. AMC won the Trans Am Championship with a Javelin. Let that land for a moment. Number 8. The 1971 AMC Hornet SC/360. If the SC/Rambler was AMC proving they could build a budget drag strip weapon, the 1971 Hornet SC/360 was AMC proving they had learned absolutely nothing from the insurance industry's reaction and were going to do it again anyway. The Hornet was a compact car, a sensible, practical, fuel-efficient compact car. The kind of car that gets ignored at every car show because it is parked next to something with a hood scoop and racing stripes. Except that AMC took the Hornet, dropped in the 360 cubic inch V8, producing 245 horsepower, and built the SC/360 package around it. The result was a compact car that could run quarter miles in the high 13-second range, a car that weighed just over 3,000 pounds and had enough torque to light up the rear tires with relatively little provocation. A car that looked, from most angles, like something your accountant would commute in. That was entirely the point. The SC/360 came with a functional hood scoop, a specific suspension tune, and exterior graphics that gave away the secret to anyone paying attention. Production numbers were limited, making it one of the rarer AMC performance packages of the era. Today it is regarded as a cult classic. Back in 1971, it was a budget street racer that made opponents feel foolish for underestimating it, and AMC built it anyway, during the worst possible economic climate for performance cars. That takes a certain kind of stubborn courage, or complete denial of market realities, possibly both. Number 7. The 1970 AMC AMX 390 Go package. The Go package. Two words that sound simple. Two words that meant AMC's engineers had finally been allowed to build exactly what they wanted without anyone telling them to calm down. The 1970 AMC AMX with the Go package was a comprehensive performance upgrade that touched virtually every system on the car. The 390 cubic inch V8 was the starting point, producing 325 horsepower in Go package trim. But the engine was only part of the story. The Go package added a specific axle ratio for better acceleration, a handling suspension package, E70 by 14-inch tires on style steel wheels, and a functional ram air hood scoop that actually worked. That scoop was not decorative. It was not there to make the car look angry in parking lots. At higher vehicle speeds, it forced measurably cooler, denser air into the engine. More oxygen meant more combustion. More combustion meant more power. Physics working exactly as intended. Quarter-mile times for the Go package AMX came in around 13.9 seconds. 0 to 60 happened in under 7 seconds. Trap speeds consistently exceeded 100 miles per hour. For a car that started life as AMC's, answer to the Corvette, these were legitimate supercar-adjacent numbers. The Go package AMX represented AMC at their engineering peak. Every dollar spent on this car went toward making it faster, more capable, and more connected. Nothing was wasted on appearances. The performance was the appearance. And that philosophy produced one of the genuinely great performance cars of 1970. Number 6. The 1969 AMC AMX 390 with 4-speed. There is a moment when the right engine meets the right transmission and something special happens. That moment occurred when AMC mated their 390 cubic inch V8 to the close ratio 4-speed manual gearbox in the 1969 AMX. The 4-speed transmission was a Borg-Warner unit with a Hurst shifter. Short throws, positive engagement, and a mechanical precision that made every gear change feel intentional and satisfying. Paired with the 390's 315 horsepower and 425 pound-feet of torque, this combination gave the driver total control over how and when that power arrived. Quarter-mile times dipped into the 13-second range with experienced drivers. 0 to 60 happened in the low 6-second range under the right conditions. But the numbers almost missed the point. What made the 4-speed AMX special was the connection it created between driver and machine. You could feel every shift. You could hear the engine pull through each gear. You were not a passenger in a powerful car. You were the person making it happen. AMC also built the 1969 AMX in limited numbers by muscle car standards. Under 9,000 units total across all engine and transmission combinations. That exclusivity gave owners something the Mustang and Camaro buyers could never quite claim. They had a car that almost nobody else had, and it was faster than almost anyone expected. Number 5. The 1971 AMC Javelin AMX Pierre Cardin Edition. I know what you are thinking, and yes, we are about to discuss a muscle car designed in collaboration with a French fashion designer. Bear with me, because this story ends somewhere you would not predict. AMC partnered with Pierre Cardin in 1971 to produce a special edition Javelin AMX with a unique interior design. Cardin's signature geometric patterns covered the seat upholstery, the door panels, and virtually every interior surface. The exterior came in specific colors, including antique gold and wildfire orange. It was polarizing in ways that even AMI's usual output rarely achieved. Here is the part that surprises people. The Pierre Cardin Javelin came with the 401 cubic inch V8 as an available option. The same engine that powered the standard Javelin AMX to 13-second quarter miles. The fashion collaboration was purely cosmetic. Everything underneath was exactly as serious as the standard performance model. What the Pierre Cardin edition actually represented was AMC's genuine creativity in finding ways to generate attention and sales without the massive marketing budgets available to Chevrolet or Ford. They could not outspend the competition, so they outthought them. a French fashion designer, and a muscle car. Nobody else would have done that. Nobody else would have had the nerve. And the performance numbers were identical to the standard 401 car, which means you could embarrass a Chevelle at a stoplight while sitting on geometric upholstery designed by a man who dressed the Beatles. That is a very specific kind of victory, but it is still a victory. Number 4. The 1968 AMC AMX 315 horsepower. The original, the one that started everything. The car that made AMC relevant to an entirely new generation of buyers who had never considered the brand before and could not stop thinking about it afterward. When AMC unveiled the AMX at the 1968 Chicago Auto Show, the reaction was immediate and electric. Here was a two-seat American sports car that did not cost Corvette money. Here was a genuine performance machine from a brand that everyone had mentally filed under economy transportation. The automotive press did not know what to make of it. Neither did the competition. The base performance engine produced 290 horsepower from the 290 cubic inch V8. But the step up to the 315 horsepower, 390, was where the AMX became genuinely interesting. This engine produced 425 pound-feet of torque in a car weighing under 3,200 pounds. The result was a power-to-weight ratio that competed directly with the best the domestic industry had to offer. 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds. Quarter mile in the low 14-second range. Top speed over 120 miles per hour. These were not approximations or optimistic factory estimates. These were numbers that independent testers confirmed again and again. AMC built just over 6,600 AMX models in 1968. Every single one was a two-seater. The car was so different, so deliberately focused, and so genuinely fast that it carved out its own reputation entirely separate from everything else AMC was making at the time. It remains one of the most underappreciated American performance cars of the 1960s, and the people who know it understand exactly why it deserves better. Number 3. The 1970 AMC AMX 390 with Ram Air. Cold air is free horsepower. Every engineer who has ever worked on a performance engine understands this. Cooler, denser air contains more oxygen. More oxygen supports more complete combustion. More complete combustion releases more energy. More energy means more power. The physics are not complicated. Acting on them properly is. AMC acted on them properly with the Ram Air system fitted to the 1970 AMX 390. The functional hood scoop was specifically designed to capture the high-pressure air that builds up at the base of the windshield during forward motion. At highway speeds and above, this system delivered a measurable increase in power output over the already potent 325 horsepower baseline rating. Road testers who pushed the Ram Air AMX hard reported quarter-mile times consistently in the 13-second range. While 0 to 60 times fell under 6.5 seconds with the right launch technique. Trap speeds routinely exceeded 105 miles per hour. For context, those numbers put the Ram Air AMX in direct competition with the Chevrolet Javelin SS 396 and the Pontiac GTO, cars with far greater name recognition and far larger production budgets behind them. What AMC delivered with the Ram Air 390 was a factory performance solution that worked exactly as advertised. No exaggeration, no sandbagged horsepower numbers to fool insurance companies. No gap between what the brochure claimed and what the car actually did. In an era famous for inflated factory ratings and underwhelming real-world performance, that honesty was almost radical, almost as radical as the quarter-mile times. Number 2. The 1969 AMC AMX Super Stock. Most manufacturers kept their factory racing programs at a comfortable arm's length from the streetcar division. Plausible deniability, corporate distance. AMC looked at that approach and decided it was unnecessarily complicated. In 1969, AMC worked directly with Hearst Performance to build the AMX Super Stock, a purpose-built drag racing weapon supplied to selected racers for NHRA Super Stock competition. Subtlety was not part of the brief. The Super Stock AMX ran a massaged engine producing somewhere around 340 horsepower by conservative estimates. Nobody who saw the hooker headers, the trunk-mounted battery, and the competition-tuned suspension believed the conservative estimates. Quarter-mile times came in the 12-second range, 12 seconds, in 1969. From a brand that had been selling station wagons to suburban families just years earlier, AMC built exactly 53 of them. 53. Most went straight to racers. Most got used hard. Finding a surviving example today is genuinely rare. Owning one means you understand something about automotive history that most people never will, which is, honestly, the most AMC thing imaginable. Number 1. The 1970 AMC Rebel Machine Ram Air. Here it is. The fastest, the wildest, and the most overlooked performance car AMC ever built. That second part should embarrass all of us. The Rebel Machine Ram Air was AMC's no-compromise performance statement for 1970. The 340 cubic inch V8 breathed through a functional ram air system, with horsepower officially rated at 340. Unofficially, probably more. AMC engineers were conservative with numbers the same way a poker player is conservative with a winning hand. Quarter-mile times came in the low 13-second range, 0 to 60 in under 6.5 seconds, trap speeds exceeding 105 miles per hour. Numbers that competed directly with the Pontiac GTO and the Chevrolet SS396. Cars with massive budgets and famous names behind them. AMC had neither. They were a company fighting for survival, building performance cars on a fraction of what General Motors spent on paperclips. And they still produced something that could beat the best 1970 had to offer. American Motors stopped building cars in 1987. The brand is gone, but the cars survive. And on a quarter-mile strip with the right machine, they could outrun almost anyone. That is the AMC story. Long past time the world knew it.